Welcome, gardeners. So a lot of you are new gardeners to 2020. Maybe you've never even thought about planting until now. Maybe some of you have done a little bit, but you want to know more? Well, we're going to discuss a few things here. So this is April here in the Treasure Valley of Idaho. We're zone 5B, 6A on most years. Some years can be a little crazy and throw us a 5A or some hotter weather. But for the most part, we're 5B, 6A, and I'll talk more about zones later. The important part is, what do I plant? When do I plant, right? Okay, so on this side, I have plants that don't mind the cold. They don't mind a little frost. They don't mind a little bit of cooler temperatures. Now, you don't need a deep freeze on these guys. Like most of these bigger leaf varieties with a deep freeze, you're going to kill them anyways. This one, they'll tolerate a deep freeze, but they will go into dormancy mode until the following year. You can kill them, but for the most part, they're very hardy. On this side, I have plants that are available at all your local greenhouses right now, but if you put them out right now, they're going to need major protection. They will not tolerate. Now, this here that I keep touching, this is an artichoke plant. They are a perennial to our area if you take care of them and protect them. But for the most part, these young guys, these ones that are brand new, they're not going to tolerate the cold, and so I don't plant them out until May. Same thing with tomatoes. You're going to have a very, very unhappy tomato if you don't kill it. Same with peppers, squash, cucumbers, melons, anything like that. Don't even think about it until May here in Idaho, unless you have a greenhouse. You've got special row covers for like the tomatoes and peppers, maybe the wall of waters, things like that. But if you don't have those, don't be planting them out yet. I don't have it on the table right now, but also a lot of people are putting their beans in the ground right now. Don't do it, because if those poor little guys pop and we have a frost and you haven't covered them, it's going to kill your beans. Beans do not like cold weather here in the Treasure Valley. Anywhere, beans don't like it. So, what can you be planting right now? Everybody wants to be planting right now. If you don't have protection, you can buy these guys. Keep them well watered, take care of them, but don't put them outside in the ground unless you have protection for them. You know, these guys, they just get watered. They hang out either in my house or in my greenhouse. During the day, on a nice day, I bring them outside. It's called hardening off. So it keeps it so that when I'm ready to plant, I can just take them right out and get them in the ground without so much of a struggle. And there'll be another video all about hardening off. These plants are cold tolerant. They will handle some cold. I've got beets, I've got lettuce, there's broccoli, there's some similar to this. It's also cabbage and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. There's, let's see, Swiss chard, strawberries, certain flowers, chives, asparagus, onions, and more lettuce. These guys are very tolerant to the cold weather. They're going to take it in stride. What they don't like is a lot of sunlight. Well, some of them don't mind the sunlight, but your lettuces and some of these guys up here, they can get sunburned, and they can struggle with extreme heat. So that's why we plant them sometimes in March and then in April. There is something that's called a row cover. Some people call it a fleece, some call it agribond. You can get that and put it over the top of these guys. It's going to filter out just a little bit of sunlight, but most importantly, it's going to protect them from that extreme sunlight and also pests. The pests that absolutely love, there's a family called the Brassica family. Cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. What else is in that family? There's a few plants. There's some pests that absolutely love them. They will munch away your entire crop. Same thing, honestly, can go with your lettuces and everything. So we do what's called a row cover, a cover crop. You don't have to have, not a cover crop. So we do what's called a row cover to protect our plants. If you don't have it, no worries. I'm also going to be teaching you guys about something called companion planting, so that we can put our plants out with plants that are beneficial to have around them to help drive away those pests, and plants maybe that they don't like, that we shouldn't probably put too close together. So we'll be talking in another video all about companion planting. I also have on here, and then there's onions. So these onions are already started. There's also what's called sets. You can do onion sets. You can put onion seeds in the ground right now here in April. So an example of some of the things you can put in the ground right now in April, I would definitely be planting radishes and beets, my lettuces, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage, Swiss chard, kale, I said beets, lettuce, pak choi, spinach. Definitely be getting your spinach in the ground. If you like collards, to get your collards in. Peas, definitely peas. Peas can be started actually as soon as March here in Idaho in our area, and they will just go crazy for you. Carrots, it's time to get your carrots in the ground. And if you're going to be growing onions from seeds, so get those onions in. Rutabagas, turnips, get them on. Go get them in right now. And kohlrabi. Those are some of the top plants that I would be putting in right now. I would start middle of March, clear through April. Some of those you can actually keep planting through May, and they will be just fine. Next part, what are the things you're going to need? So when I started gardening, I literally had a hand-me-down shovel, a hand-me-down rake, a hose with about 10 million holes in it, and a water bucket. And not like some fancy water bucket. No. I'm talking like Home Depot 3 or 5 gallon bucket. You know, that was literally where I started. Now, if you're going to, you could have whatever it is you need to get started. What you need to get started, some seeds or some plants. You don't need anything else to get planted. You can use your fingers to get holes in the ground. You can find a stick and use a stick to put a hole in the ground so you can be planting. I am lucky enough that I have been able to attain tools over the years. I've decided what I like, what I don't like. And so I kind of have like the basic, what do I want to have? What do I not want to have? The basic things I have a small hand shovel. This is one of them. This one's, it's not plastic. That's not quite it's a type of plastic. But I also have a metal one that I love. So a good sturdy hand shovel is really handy to have. This is called a trowel. It's great for breaking up the soil. Some people don't think it's a necessity. I really like it for breaking up the soil when I'm trying to get new plants in or seeds. I can take it and scratch the surface of the soil when I'm putting in new seedlings. Gloves. Gloves are so important on so many levels. It's going to protect you in so many ways. I can go on an entire video on just why gloves are so important to a gardener. Scissors are up front. Scissors are great. So like when you're harvesting a plant, it's easy to walk up and just break a piece off, but honestly, the damage that can be done by ripping and tearing, if you have a good pair of scissors, you can walk up and just snip what you want. It's going to be better for the plant. Of course, there's seeds up there. This is a calendar that I have. It's a 2020-2021 calendar. I've got in it information on when I'm planting, what I did that day. I also record daily temperatures, highs and lows, what was the weather doing. This is one of them. I have a few. This is one of my companion planting charts. And then this big thing is my homestead gardening, goat, rabbit, you name it. This is my journal that I will be keeping through the year. It's got notes on it when I sit and listen to YouTubers or webinars. I take notes in here. I've got a section on like our goat yard that's all mapped out on what my plans are for this year with my goats. It's got information on my goats. When did we breed goats? How are goats feeling? Are they sick? Backing up to gardening, I have entire sections in here devoted to, like when I'm planting my seeds, what did I plant? When did I plant? How many did I plant? The date, make sure you put the date in. How many came up? How many didn't come up? Did they transplant well? Was there any problems that I had with my plants? Was there any pest problems? Things like that. I record everything. So definitely get yourself some sort of a journal. At first it might seem really mundane, but this is very handy to have. I also keep a map in here of all of my gardens are mapped. So when I'm planting, I can go right in here. I can know which garden, which bed, and I can go flip right to it and know exactly what I planted, when I planted, etc., etc., etc. This is an invaluable tool when you're walking around in your garden and for pre-planning for the season. I was walking around with this actually in December when I got it and making my plans for the year. I was like, okay, I've got a plan for like the February. What am I going to be? Because January is the dreaming month. It's the month of you're looking at all the seed catalogs that are coming and you're going, okay, I want to try this. I want to try that. I want to try this. And so you kind of get that narrowed down in January. February for me in my area, because I start a lot of my own seeds, February is when I'm going, okay, got to make sure the greenhouse is prepped. Do I have the inside greenhouse ready? Do I have lighting ready, heating, all of these things? And February is when I start a lot of tomatoes, artichokes, peppers, eggplant, things like that need that long period of time for getting a head start. And then I'm also planting my February garden. Not a lot actually goes into the ground here in February just because we have the chance of extremely hard freezes that would just kill a plant. But we also have, if it's not freezing, it's a frost. So not a lot honestly goes on in my garden beds in February other than prepping. So a lot of prepping of the beds for February, feeding the beds their compost for the year, things like that. Getting them ready because in March, I want to start these greens out into my garden beds. I want to make sure those garden beds are prepped. They're warm. There's no weeds. I've solarized. And I probably lost you, right? You're probably like, what is she talking about? We're going to cover all that. Don't you guys worry. But the point is, have something to record so you can go back and go, okay, that's right. I did that already. Oh, yeah, I already did that. So we're going to get you guys started. We are going to have a really great growing year here, wherever you are. If you're not in Idaho, I'm so glad you joined us anyways. If you're in northern Idaho, eastern Idaho, you guys have a completely different climate. But you know what? Hang out anyways. We're going to have some fun. I would love to hear from anybody and everybody. What are you doing? Do you have any dreams for 2020? What do you want to plant? Do you have one that you've planted that is like a no-fail? You always have to plant it. Like for me, I don't know about a no-fail. Maybe beets or radishes. Radishes, no-fail. Radishes are my easiest crop. And something I have to plant every year no matter what. This is one variety I picked up at our local D&B supply. It's the Amish paste tomato from the Moss greenhouses. I always grow a ton of paste tomatoes because I use them in my canning. They are amazing for all the sauces, chili bases, stew bases, soup bases, you name it. Like, you can make a million things and can them up, tuck them away for the year so you're not having to run to the store. Something else, oh my gosh, we have to grow jalapenos. I grow way too many jalapenos, but it's never enough. Because I love jalapeno poppers, I love smoked jalapenos, grilled jalapenos, salsa, So those are I have to have them every single year. Then I've got some squash, and I love artichokes. So we've been adding more artichokes to the family. We're going to talk about perennials. This is a plant right here. This is asparagus. Plant once and you'll eat for at least 10 years. No joke. And guess what? Asparagus loves strawberries. So I'm going to show you guys how you can get those planted together for harvest. Seriously, you'll be harvesting for at least 10 years. So hang out with me. We're going to have fun. There's going to be a variety of videos coming out for all of you guys. Please, please, please ask questions. And do me a favor, if you're on YouTube, like it, subscribe to it, share it. Let's build a community of gardeners. Let's help each other out. And if I haven't answered your question, I want you to send me a message. Make me a comment. Say, hey, I have a question, because I will make a video just for you on that question. All right, guys, let's have some fun. Let's garden.